Several months ago, Dr. Mehdi asked me that there was a conference being held in Houston, here at ISKCON, and if I would like to talk. And I said that definitely I would love to talk, and then she said it's more about East versus West and the crossroads in medicine, and I said that's actually would be lovely, because I'm actually doing mind-body medicine certification at Harvard, and also as part of my master's project at Harvard, I'm working on developing an app, and my research project is on the app. So, is that okay? Oh. So this is being a cardiologist in private practice for 26 years, and have always had a spiritual inclination. I thought this would be a wonderful topic for me. This is the first for me to talk about mind-body medicine, although I have been practicing meditation and mind-body medicine techniques for the last 2.5 decades in my practice, and actually recommend it to my patients. So last year when I went to Harvard for a mind-body medicine course, the conference started. There were about 500 physicians from all over the country, in fact from different parts of the world, who attended the conference, and the conference started with the meditation of Om. So I'm going to say that when I ever do my first talk on mind-body medicine, I shall do that with the chant of Om. So I'd like you to all close your eyes and just do some deep breathing techniques with pronunciation, and just follow me. I'm sure you'll be able to do that. I'll do that for about a minute or so. So health, as we all talk about, as you know, that health is actually truly a three-legged stool. If you look at it, we have the pharmaceuticals, we have the medications, where we are giving medical therapy to patients. Then we have patients who require, based on illness, they will require some kind of surgery. I'm an interventional cardiologist, and there are patients who present with severe chest pain or acute myocardial infarction or unstable angina or acute cardiac syndromes, where they really need an intervention. So those are the cases where you have surgery. And then we talk about self-care, where we'll have the mind-body medicine techniques, which will be important. Last year, in fact, I did my 5th boards, and I'm now quintuple certified. There is a new board called Lifestyle Medicine Boards. And in the Lifestyle Medicine Boards, the first pillar they talked about was self-care. As physicians, we are looking after the entire world. We are looking at our patients, but we must look up. We must take care of ourselves first, because taking care of others, if they say when we have an emergency in the plane, they say make sure you put your oxygen mask first. So you have to take care of yourself first before you take care of your family and take care of your patient. So self-care, where taking care of yourselves with diet, exercise, yoga, meditation, all these factors play a very, very important role. And it struck me that the very first pillar in lifestyle medicine boards began with self-care. So we as physicians, we owe it to our families, we owe it to our patients, we owe it to ourselves that we must take care of ourselves. And in a process of where we talk about promoting the meditation response or relaxation response, where we have a combination of decreasing the stress response, promoting growth and enhancement, and ultimately we will provide resiliency to the individual. And here, when we have the meditation or relaxation response elicitation. There are multiple techniques that we will talk about, whether it is a mantra meditation or a mini meditation or a focus meditation or body scan, body movement meditation, hatha yoga. All these are different tools which we are going to we can incorporate in our techniques of stress reduction and meditation techniques, which we will go on later on. When we talk about the as we already going over into the scientific basis of the meditation, in fact, a lot of research has been done, and most of the research, in fact, Herbert Benson at Mind Body Medicine Institute in Harvard went to India in late 1970s, and it's interesting that all the mind body medicine experts, whether it is all the mind body experts, began their journey by their trips to India, and it is in fact comes down to each one of them. Dr. Herbert Benson, who's the director of Mind Body Medicine Institute at Harvard Medical School, went to India in the late 1960s, early 70s, and subsequently started the Mind Body Medicine Institute and began to do research. So the maximum amount of research on mind body medicine is occurring at Harvard Medical School, and also there's a lot of research going on by the Buddhist monks at University of Wisconsin and Milwaukee. So these are the two very premier institutes where a tremendous amount of research is going on. And there's data that talks about whenever we have tremendous amount of stress, there is allostatic loading leading to wear and tear of the individual and affecting our immunity, our capabilities of fighting infection. Yeah, that's better. Thank you. Yeah. You want me to use this one? So whenever we have a stress response, in fact, if you see in the current practice of medicine, it is estimated that approximately 70% of the office visits to the patients are related to stress. So stress ultimately, whether it is a personal stress or financial stress or emotional stress, whatever the stress factors may be, they are playing a very, very major role in all kinds of illnesses that we are encountering in our lives. So currently I'm actually, while getting ready, I'm actually working on a research project at Harvard as part of my master's program, is developing an app. The name of which I have designed is ZenOhm, an app that I'm designing with, it's going to be incorporated in patients with a known case of hypertension, where we are having the patients do a stress measurement by doing a perceived stress score and subsequently enrolling them in a pilot project with the proper IRB protocol. So stress response is whenever individuals are experiencing stress, the individual is working, the brain is working on bottom up. And when we are in a relaxed state, the condition is the brain is being activated by top down. And what that means is this is a very fundamental process where in periods when individuals are performing meditation or feeling very, very relaxed, there is increased parasympathetic system activation, and what that does is that reduces your heart rate, reduces blood pressure, reduces your vascular resistance, brings your blood pressure down, reduces your respiratory rate, and all these factors are occurring with the activation of the prefrontal cortex. However, when an individual is stressed, the opposite is happening. It is actually the amygdala that is getting activated, and the amygdala, when gets activated, it results in activation of the sympathetic nervous system, and subsequently you have increased release of the sympathetic nervous system, increased adrenaline, increased cortisol, all these factors leading to increase in the heart rate, increase in the blood pressure, increase in the blood sugar, and vasoconstriction. So all these factors are playing a role. So when there's a tremendous amount of data that has been done in Buddhist monks at Harvard and at University of Wisconsin, where they have shown that when individuals are performing long periods of meditation, in fact, it does not have to be long period. The amount of meditation that one could in fact do is, even if you are doing 10 minutes per day, and if you're doing it hopefully 7 days a week, over a period of time of almost anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks, it begins to have an impact. And when they have done functional MRIs on patients, they have shown that there is activation of the prefrontal cortex and there is decreased activation of the amygdala. So meditation and stress reduction measures have objectively been shown that these are resulting in organic changes in the brain. Here, as I've shown the picture here, it shows that the prefrontal cortex and all the parts that are activated in the top picture in patients who are actually undergoing meditation and are experiencing relief of stress, whereas when the patients are activated, this was the landmark study published by Armstrong in 2009, which revealed that when patients are in excessive amount of stress, it is actually the amygdala and the hippocampal region that gets stimulated, leading to stimulation of the sympathetic nervous system, resulting in the elevation of the blood pressure, heart rate, and all the physiological factors that occur with the elevation of these hormone levels. And as again, showing, and also when this happens, we can actually see the activation of the amygdala results in there is an effect on the neuronal growth and the branching of the neuronal points. And it has again been shown by functional MRIs that the different parts of the brain, when it is the amygdala stimulation or when it is the stimulation of the prefrontal cortex, it plays a role in the biochemical changes and anatomical changes in the neurons in the brain. These are the various biochemical pathways that have been shown in activation in whether it is the prefrontal cortex or whether it is the amygdala stimulation in patients with stress. As you know, that stimulation of the amygdala results in corticotrophin releasing hormone, and ultimately it is with stress that will result in the increased sympathetic nervous system, whereas the prefrontal cortex activation will result in the parasympathetic nervous system. And as you know, they have completely opposite biochemical effects. Meditation or mindfulness, the concept of mindfulness, which is essentially looking at thinking of the present moment and not really, I'm so sorry, was in fact devised by, I think I may have pressed this, was introduced by Kabat-Zinn in early 1970s. And he again has subsequently went to India and learned meditation there, and subsequently came back under the influence of a lot of Buddhist meditation. He became a Buddhist monk, and then he essentially took the Buddhist philosophy out and introduced the word mindfulness and started a program of mindfulness-based research and protocol reduction at the University of Massachusetts, which is actually a very, very famous program. Now, in fact, it is, he's currently an international speaker and has written numerous books. So that is one of the most famous mindfulness-based programs. But if you look fundamentally, whether you talk about meditation or mindfulness, these are all essentially where you are bringing a focus to your breathing, to yourself. And the process can in fact begin with as simple as closing your eyes, sitting comfortably, and then just beginning to concentrate on your breathing techniques itself. So whether you are talking about whether you are doing a single pointed focus, or you are doing the deep pranayama breathing with the deep breathing techniques, or you are just simply focusing on the breathing. And a very important part is when I'm in fact mentioning to my patients and I'm teaching them, I would like to make people aware, maybe most of you may be aware of it, but whenever we are doing the deep breathing, the most important part is when you're taking the deep breath in. And I would like you to, all of you to hold put both your hands on your belly. Put your both hands on the belly, and when you take a deep breath, I want to make sure as if you are blowing up a balloon. So when you are taking a deep breath, you need to make sure that your abdominal wall is actually coming out. So when you take a deep breath, try it out, take a deep breath in. So the right way of doing it, by this we are actually able to expand the bases of the lungs, and this is the true way of doing the deep pranayama, where when you're taking a deep breath in, you have to actually, your abdominal wall muscles should be coming out so that you are taking, improving your vital capacity to the maximum. So whether you are doing mindfulness or you are doing a guided imagery, loving kindness, meditation is there, contemplation is there, body scan, where in fact the body scan meditation where you can start concentrating, beginning from your toes and gradually beginning to bring in attention from different parts of the body and thinking of those parts of the body by very gradually taking nice deep breath in and deep breath out. So these are all the different techniques where when one performs over a period of time, will be able to experience the benefits of meditation. Currently, there are almost over 1,000 meditation apps, and Headspace, when I was doing my project, I went into a little bit of research and found that the Headspace app, which was designed by a gentleman, only was commercially made available about in 2010, is currently in 2017 was the most downloaded app in the world. And currently there are people, I think it has been, there's 50 million users and 190 countries using the meditation app. So there is an explosive growth on meditation apps currently available, and one will have to see what works for you, but there are some of them are free sessions, but majority of them are subscribed subscriptions. During the meditation process, when we have the activation of prefrontal cortex, it is believed that it has been shown with scientific research that there is a remodeling of the dendritic neurons of the pathways, and when the top-down network works, it is actually very, very beneficial for the regeneration, and in fact, there is an increase in the cortical thickness of the brain when functional MRIs have been performed on long-term meditators, revealing that long-term meditation can be an extremely beneficial aspect. The recommendations, in fact, are that one should try to do meditation 20 minutes a day, hopefully 5 to 7 days a week. But again, in fact, doing some research, I found out that the compliance goes down significantly beyond 10 minutes of meditation. So beyond, because these days people's lives are really busy, and it is seen that if you can manage 10 minutes in the morning, preferably in the morning, and if you can have additional 10 minutes in the evening, over a period of time, you yourself will see the difference that in fact meditation, whether it is a deep breathing techniques or pranayama or a focus meditation, or simply a chant meditation where you may say the word Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, or Om, or whatever word that works for you. If you can do that by chanting, doing the meditation, whatever works for an individual, and there are different types of meditation, whatever works, but if one can do about 10 minutes a day, hopefully 5 to 7 days a week. The research data shows that it makes a huge difference in these patients. And the research project that I am in fact conducting is about participating about 100 patients pilot project, and I have a IRB submission, Western IRB, where we are going to actually be doing the blood lipids and A1C and biochemical markers, including C-reactive protein and some 7 additional biochemical markers we'll be measuring at baseline, and then redoing them at 12 weeks and seeing how over a 12-week period of time where patients when have although history of stable hypertension, when you use the app 10 minutes per day, 5 days a week, we will be able to see the data. My plan is to launch this sometime in the month of April and conduct the study over the next 6 months or so. In addition, there's a lot of in addition to meditation, there's a lot of emphasis being placed on sleep, that we need to have at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Every individual should be taking time for that much sleep. In addition, although there is approximately 3% of the patient population that does not require that duration of sleep, but it is a very important period where we need to have our deep REM sleep patterns for our regenerative processes. So it is said that whether people are happy or people are unhappy, happy people will utilize positive sentences, positive words, positive thoughts, and their entire thought process is top down. Whereas people who are angry, people who are emotionally upset, people are anxious, people are stressed, their complete setup of the brain is bottom up. So it is actually truly a mindset where an individual, whatever path you choose, but you will need guidance, whether it is meditation or exercise, yoga, meditation, stress reduction. All these ultimately lead to an individual where you will lead a more satisfied life, positive expectations. And when people are happy, and you will yourself see that when that is the case, you are able to accomplish a lot more than a person who's comparatively unhappy. So your entire thought process completely changes. In the ratio, it is believed that individuals who are positive their ratio of using positive and negative words is between 3:1, whereas individuals who you come across are negative or stressed, they will invariably be using negative words to positive words in the ratio of 3:1, whereas the happy people will be using 3:1 and good words to positive words to kind words. And as you said, happy people, successful people, their thought processes are top down with prefrontal cortex activated, whereas individuals who are unhappy, they are under tremendous amount of stress, are thinking their process is bottom up. And I mean, just today itself, while I was coming, when Dr. Medley just called me, I am running a 2.5 marathon tomorrow. I was picking up my packet, and I was stuck on West Park Tollway. There was tremendous amount of traffic, but I said, you know what, I am definitely, there's no question I'm going to make it. And I'm telling you, if you put your mind and effort to anything, positive things begin to happen. And I did not get stressed. I said, I'll make it here on 5:20, and went there, picked up my packet, quickly ran, got parking spots. So it is a mindset that actually drives you. And I'm telling you, a positive attitude can carry you through in life in ways that, in fact, you will absolutely have no idea. That attitude carries you, gives you happiness, not only for you, but around people around you. So It truly is a mindset that negative feelings you see, these are the negative feelings that people will be surrounded by, and they'll be using such words. On the other hand, patients, individuals who are using, are very optimistic, positive, successful people will be surrounding themselves with words which are positive, feeling energy, words, harmony, kindness, creativity. This is a famous quote, if you can't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. And really speaking, there are times in our lives where we are in situations where we cannot change circumstances. If that's the case, then you have to say you have to adapt and in fact change yourself. We talked about the healthy sleep pattern, sleep, modern sleep. I just want to go into the two important quotes that I wanted to. The exercise part, that just one little word about exercise, I would say the American Heart Association and the American College of Cardiology state that you have to have aerobic exercise for 150 minutes per week, which means 30 minutes per day, 5 times a week. In addition, weight training should be performed for 2 times a week. And it is also extremely important to do weight training. And especially, in fact, it's very important in women, especially for reducing chances of osteoporosis, and in fact for even cardiovascular fitness. And this is a very powerful statement, and I want you to think about this. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you can create. And with the last saying from the Upanishads, you are what your deep driving desire is. As you desire so, as your desire is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. As your deed is, so is your destiny. Thank you.